for all the examples we've seen. Him suing Showtime for $300 million, him foreclosing on multiple properties, him losing on investments on multiple properties, him buying a lot of depreciating assets, and him all of a sudden looking to box very much in the year 2026. Floyd losing money Mayweather, as the chatter says, is in dire straits financially.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Some people will say, you know, he's suing now because of his gambling habits, which was not hidden. It was not a secret. He would post, not Teddy Atlas talking about anything that wasn't out there. He would post some of his tickets, his betting tickets that he bet, and they were large bets. And so some people say, oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he...
Once hailed as the undisputed king of the sporting world and the literal blueprint for global wealth, Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. is now spiraling into a dark, catastrophic, and terrifyingly uncertain chapter of his existence. The boxing world is currently in a state of absolute meltdown. The atmosphere is thick with pure disbelief, gut-wrenching shock, and a tidal wave of frustration. From every corner of the globe, fans and critics are watching in horror as a mountain of high-stakes legal disasters begins to...
What I feel, that's in their underwear in grandmother's basement or wherever the frick they are, taking pot shot at people because of their misery, because of their misfortune, because they're in a bad place. Shame on you. And shame on the people out there. I know that there's some of them, everyone knows I don't really read that internet unless somebody shows me specifically some stuff. And I saw some of the stuff. I didn't want to see any more, so I told them, don't show me anymore. But I saw enough to see what was out there. People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point. And now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure.
Shocking new intelligence is painting a grim, skeletal picture of a financial empire that is literally rotting from the inside out. While the public saw a fortress of gold, the reality is a nightmare of property foreclosures, aggressive tax liens, and a soul-crushing mountain of debt. Reports are surfacing that his purchased luxury mansions and his famous private jet are actually drowning in heavy financing. In a move that screams desperation, creditors are moving in like vultures, with some claims even alleging that the world's richest boxer can't even cover his own jet fuel expenses. The fire was pushed to an inferno when Mayweather tried to downplay his upcoming clash with Pacquiao.
Apparently he did an interview, said that it was an exhibition, that these guys didn't have anything to prove, that their legends were already set in stone, and that it would be an exhibition. He wasn't sure if it was going to be at the Sphere. Apparently that is not true. According to a Boxing Scene article that interviewed Jazz Mathur, the CEO of Manny Pacquiao Promotions, said that yes, the fight is contracted for the Sphere, booked at the Sphere, scheduled at the Sphere for September 19th. It is booked as a professional fight, not as an exhibition. It was never booked as an exhibition, which makes sense because Netflix got behind it, and I would assume that they would not want an exhibition. We said the other day, I think it was actually yesterday, we said that this fight has to be a real fight and not an exhibition because one, Netflix is involved, two, Manny Pacquiao wants that get back, and two,
digital world erupted when Mike Carpenter launched a brutal public assault on Mayweather's integrity. Carpenter exposed the fact that Floyd is playing a dangerous game of contractual Russian roulette by contradicting Netflix's official high-stakes promotion. By labeling the bout an exhibition, Mayweather is walking straight into a legal trap that could cost him everything. Adding to the carnage, Wade Plemons highlighted the predatory nature of Mayweather's business tactics, pointing out that taking signing bonuses for a pro fight while secretly planning an exhibition is a legal death sentence. He even brought up the dark shadow of the Logan Paul controversy, where Mayweather allegedly manipulated the event's identity to siphon off a cool 10%
person saying, it's a real fight. You got the promotion saying this is a real fight. You got Floyd Mayweather saying no, this is an exhibition. There's two things that are happening here. Either somebody messed up in paperwork or in communication or in some form of getting this fight together, misspoke to one of these guys, or Floyd Mayweather is trying to scam Netflix. That is the only two things that can be possible here. Because we then get the report, as of yesterday, that Floyd Mayweather has already taken a cash advance payment of his purse for the upcoming Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix, despite it currently being in jeopardy. I don't even know how that's possible. Who gave him a cash advance before they even got to the fight? I understand like paying some up front to secure the fight, but paying everything? Maybe it's not what it is. Maybe
Plot thickens with the involvement of a shadowy and controversial figure known as Renitz, a man deeply embedded in Mayweather's post-retirement real estate web. As Renitz faces his own legal execution, the heat on Mayweather is becoming unbearable. Reliable sources on X, formerly Twitter, are confirming that Team Pacquiao is no longer playing games. They are preparing a legal nuclear strike against Mayweather over the Netflix debacle. With Renitz's past criminal record and prison time resurfacing, the stench of scandal is everywhere. Pacquiao's camp has sent a clear, chilling message. A contract is a contract. They are demanding a full-scale professional war. And if Floyd tries to slide out, the courtroom will become his new boxing ring.
And then everything they took the risk for sometimes is lost. Whether it was Joe Louis, whoever, it never becomes not sad or unfortunate to hear. Never. It's look, you could say it's their responsibility. It is. It is. You got to know what's going on. But there are also sharks in this business, in any business. And sometimes these athletes, I won't even specify fighters. We're talking about fighters. But you hear it in football, but you were around it. You hear it in basketball. Sometimes these athletes, they don't have the right people around them to look out for them. You know,
even the legendary Joe Rogan couldn't stay silent on this tragedy. Rogan reminded the world that for over a decade, Floyd Mayweather was a god among men, the most dominant American predator to ever lace up gloves. His 2015 tactical masterclass against Manny Pacquiao wasn't just a fight, it was the birth of the money persona, a multi-billion-dollar brand built on defensive perfection and a lightning-fast ego.
Fighting. Is that what's his feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure.
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Real fight. Okay. Yeah, because I know he said
I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or nothing.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Yeah.
Is Fear still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so it's still happening.
For years, Mayweather performed a high-wire act of extreme vanity, flaunting $18 million watches and exotic hypercars like they were toys. He wanted the world to believe his wealth was infinite. However, the mask has finally slipped. In a move that screams financial emergency, Mayweather has launched a staggering $340 million lawsuit against Showtime and Steven Espinosa. Why would a billionaire be so desperate for a settlement? This legal warfare exposes the hidden financial fractures behind the scenes, proving that when the private jets stop flying and the contracts start clashing, even Money Mayweather can find himself gasping for financial air.
He definitely did. Look, it would have been an interesting fight had he fought Pacquiao when he was younger in his prime. It would have been a very different
Would have been
fight.
A more interesting fight.
Much more different.
Because
much more difficult fight.
any go-forward physical warrior like Pacquiao is going to wear down.
Right, exactly.
And any brilliant counterpuncher like Floyd is going to retain more.
Yeah.
So he did.
Yeah, it would have been much more interesting when they were younger. Also, the fact that Pacquiao fought him with a bum shoulder. That was a disaster, too.
Money talks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I guess he was faced with this thing, legacy, or, I mean, it was the biggest pay-per-view of all time in boxing, correct?
I believe so.
I believe so. And I think it was like 4 million buys.
Mayweather's former brother turned arch enemy, 50 Cent has finally broken his silence on why the world loves to hate Floyd. According to 50 Cent, the public's obsession with Mayweather's downfall is fueled by Floyd's own toxic obsession with wealth and money-only fights. But in a twist of genius, 50 Cent explains how Floyd weaponized that hatred. He didn't care if you loved him or hated him, as long as you paid to see him. He turned public resentment into a gold mine, but as 50 Cent implies, when the money persona stops being backed by actual money, the villain character becomes a very real tragedy.
Like, well, you said I didn't want to say I was active because that's normal.
Right.
I said I wasn't activated. I knew what I said. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, you didn't say it right. I know I said it right. I knew what I said. I knew what I posted.
I don't really care how much you make, bro. I feel like writing an $18 million check has to feel some sort of weight.
That's crazy. I didn't want to do it. Of course, I'm like, who wants to give up basically 20 million?
You wrote 18,180,000,000.00. Like, bro, that's crazy.
You know, I got huge deals on the table, so I'm always making shake.
What's the biggest thing you got working right now?
I can start this. Come here. So come here. So
Dude, what is it?
Make it this long, okay? So right here.
That's crazy.
I just keep stuff on the low.
Yeah, my math don't work like.
Boxing analyst Max Kellerman has issued a chilling structural analysis of Mayweather's lifestyle. Kellerman warns that the superstar trap is closing in. When an athlete spends at a rate that outpaces their legacy and fails to build a fortress of long-term investments, the end is always the same: total ruin. Kellerman argues that the moment the prime earning years vanish, the overspending doesn't stop, leading to a financial heart attack. He believes Mayweather's current legal chaos and his constant return to the ring are the ultimate symptoms of a man who is running out of time and running out.
And I'm like, and he said the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, you know.
Max Kellerman highlights that athletes like Floyd Mayweather Jr. In an even more direct strike, Max Kellerman accused Mayweather of sabotaging his own future through reckless, high-stakes gambling and an unsustainable addiction to luxury. Kellerman's warning is a haunting echo of many legends before him. Wealth can vanish faster than a punch you don't see coming. By prioritizing $100,000 bets and multi-million-dollar car collections over a disciplined financial strategy, Mayweather has allegedly hollowed out his fortune. His life has transformed from a success story into a warning label for every athlete in the world, proving that reckless indulgence is the fastest way to turn a billionaire back into a beginner.
It's coming up. Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. I think the guy's from Greece or something like that. What do you feel about great champions doing these kind of fights as well? Or just these kind of fights that's going on?
You need money.
Damn.
Yeah, when you need money. This is the problem with boxing. You think about financial literacy, right? And you talk about like NFL players or NBA players. There's support systems for those dudes. There's nothing like that for fighters. They got to figure it out all themselves. And if you're a fighter, that means you did not have options.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like basketball or football. If you could, like, by the way, football players couldn't play basketball or they play basketball. It's a better deal, right? That's if you can, you do. And boxers couldn't do either one of those things, right? They're too small or they got hurt, whatever it is.
Clemens dropped another bombshell, revealing that Mayweather has already pocketed a massive cash advance for the Pacquiao rematch. Citing sources from ESPN and Mike Coppinger, Clemens claims this is part of a long-term pattern of financial manipulation. Whether it was the Deji fight or the Logan Paul circus, Mayweather allegedly uses the threat of withdrawing to squeeze every last cent out of promoters. But this time, the stakes are higher. By taking advances for a pro fight and then trying to pivot to an exhibition, Mayweather has backed himself into a corner where Netflix and Team Pacquiao are ready to collect their pound of flesh in court.
Or kind of structure in place to help them at all. And so what usually happens with almost every fighter who ever lived, not everyone, but most of them, is they wind up going broke at a certain point, right? first of all, taxes, child support, all that kind of stuff, that promoters, this and that, and then just the way you spend your money. Could be bad investments. Try to do the right thing, and wind up with bad investments. You could just spend too much. And the thing is, if you're not the best in the world anymore, but you're one of, let's say, the 50 best in the world at what you do in your weight class, still hard.
The legendary Jason Whitlock has finally addressed the elephant in the room. Is Floyd Mayweather Jr. officially bankrupt? With rumors of property auctions and empty bank reserves swirling through Las Vegas, Whitlock describes this as the ultimate cautionary tale of image versus reality. Mayweather spent his entire life trying to look like the richest man alive, but prioritizing clout over capital has led him to a devastating crossroad. As he prepares to step back into the ring at an age where most are retired, it's becoming clear that he isn't fighting for legacy anymore. He's fighting for survival. The money era is officially in the middle of a catastrophic meltdown.
ESPN, this is not, random Twitter person reporting this. I think Mike Coppinger also reported the same thing. If this is to be believed, Floyd took a cash advance and then undermined the promotion of his own fight to try to protect his 50-0 record and still make a bag. Floyd has done this for years. He has done this for years, especially after his pro career. When he was doing these exhibitions, he would not show up to things he was obligated to do, take advances. Even the Deji fight, you can ask Deji, I was there. Floyd demanded that they pay him some insane amount of money or he wasn't going to fight Deji while he was at the venue. And they wanted to change gloves and do all this stuff. And I think they actually did it. They paid Floyd to do it. And I've seen this with a bunch of his exhibitions. And obviously we know about the Logan Paul situation, how Floyd shopped his fight to a different company after essentially scamming.
Rumors and stories coming out about Floyd Mayweather, him auctioning off property, him being in bankruptcy, him being out of money, and that's why he's going to fight Mike Tyson. Saw this incredible tweet where a guy listed all the things Floyd Mayweather wasted money on while living in Las Vegas and just living for the culture. That's what Floyd Mayweather is an example of. The stupidity of living for the culture and trying to be relatable and trying to be this incredible icon or example of, look how much money I've made. He's blown it all, and now at 49 years old, he's got to go back into the boxing ring and continue to fight because he's
Whether has to agree to whatever the contract is. If it's a fight. I think one of the comments the other day really made a point that, one of the comments in our chat made a point that, has really stuck with me. Mayweather has to know the terms he agreed to. Come on. I mean, you can't just sign something and not know those terms. He's got to know that if it is, in fact, it has to be a fight, then he would do this. And he knows he's got to go through with a fight. He may just be saying this just to sell the fight in general, just to sell it as, make it a talking point, make it a controversial point, so that people want to wind up, talking about it more. It becomes a topic of discussion. And then from that perspective, people, end up watching, more people end up watching it because it becomes more of a polarizing topic of conversation. So I don't know. I see this eventually getting straightened out. I think it has to. I mean, Floyd has to fight right now. I think Mayweather probably wants to fight right now. Mayweather wants to fight and probably has to fight right now. And Pacquiao seems to want to and have to.
That wraps up today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for more updates.
It's coming up. Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. I think the guy's from Greece or something like that. What do you feel about great champions doing these kind of fights as well? Or just these kind of fights that's going on?
They need money.
Damn.
Yeah, when you need money. This is the problem with boxing. You think about financial literacy, right? And you talk about like NFL players or NBA players. There's support systems for those dudes. There's nothing like that for fighters. They got to figure it out all themselves. And if you're a fighter, that means you did not have options.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like basketball or football. If you could, by the way, football players couldn't play basketball or they play basketball. It's a better deal, right? That's if you can, you do. And boxers couldn't do either one of those things, right? They're too small or they got hurt or whatever it is. And